Yo, stop scrolling right now because Gucci Mane finally broke his silence on getting robbed by Pooh Shiesty. And bro, what he said is absolutely insane. We're not talking about some vague subliminal shots. Gucci literally addressed the entire situation. And when you hear how he responded and what he's doing about it, your mind is gonna be blown. This is the story nobody thought we'd get the full details on, but sources close to both camps are talking. So hit that like button, smash subscribe, and let's get into this, because what Gucci did after getting violated by his own artist is not what anybody expected. Trust me, you need to hear every second of this. Alright, let me paint the picture for you, because to understand why Gucci's response is so cold, you gotta understand how deep this betrayal really goes. Gucci Mane is a legend. We're talking about somebody who literally created the blueprint for modern trap music. This man's been in the game for over 20 years and built one of the most respected labels in hip-hop with 1017 Records. When Gucci signed Pooh Shiesty, he didn't just hand him a contract. He took him under his wing, gave him game, connected him with the right producers, and put the full machine behind him. Pooh, real name Lontrell Williams, came up in Memphis with that raw, unfiltered street energy. He already had buzz locally, but Gucci saw something special. He saw that same hunger that made Gucci himself a legend, so he signed him, and for Pooh, that was like hitting the lottery. He went from local Memphis rapper to one of the biggest platforms in hip-hop overnight. At first, everything was perfect. Gucci was the veteran mentor. Pooh was the hungry student making hits. They were creating music that had everybody paying attention. But then Pooh caught a federal case and ended up doing time. For most artists, that's career over, but not with Gucci. Throughout Pooh's entire bid, Gucci kept his name alive. He mentioned him in interviews, posted about him on social media, made sure people knew that when Pooh came home, he still had a spot. That's loyalty most label bosses don't show. So Pooh gets out and everybody's expecting him to come home and get right back to work with Gucci. The anticipation was crazy. Gucci even posted on Instagram about how proud he was and how they were about to make hits. But yo, something had changed. When Pooh touched down, instead of linking up with Gucci, he started moving different. He gravitated heavy toward Memphis connections, specifically Yo Gotti and CMG Records. Now, if you don't know, Gucci and Yo Gotti have serious personal beef. It goes back to Gucci's wife, Keisha Kaur. Before she was Mrs. Gucci Mane, Keisha had a relationship with Yo Gotti while Gucci was locked up. In street culture, that's a violation you don't come back from. So when Pooh started publicly showing love to Yo Gotti, posting about CMG, it wasn't just about Memphis pride. He was picking a side in a deeply personal beef. Every post was like a slap in the face to the man who kept his career alive. I get it, Memphis loyalty is real. Yo Gotti represents hometown success, but loyalty in hip-hop is supposed to be about more than geography. When somebody invests in you, supports you through your darkest times, that creates a bond that should be stronger than hometown pride. But Pooh chose immediate acceptance over loyalty to the man who actually held him down. But it gets so much worse. Reports started hitting that Pooh Shiesty had actually robbed Gucci Mane. Not just disrespected him, but straight up took his jewelry at gunpoint. According to multiple sources, this happened during a studio session in Dallas. The way the story goes, Pooh and some of his people pulled up to the studio where Gucci was working. The energy was tense from the jump. Whether it was about money, the Memphis situation, Pooh wanting out of his contract, or all of the above, things escalated. Pooh's people were strapped and they made it clear what time it was. Gucci had security, but when you got multiple guns drawn, what's security supposed to do? They stood down because nobody's trying to die over jewelry. So Gucci was forced to give up his watch and his wedding ring. The one his wife Keisha gave him. That's not just about money or diamonds, that's deeply personal. That's a symbol of his marriage. For somebody like Gucci who survived the streets in the industry for decades, getting robbed is bad enough. But getting robbed by your own artist, somebody you trusted like family, that's the ultimate betrayal. And this wasn't spontaneous, this was calculated. Pooh's people were involved, which means it was planned. Imagine how that felt for Gucci. He kept this man's career alive, welcomed him home with love, and this is how he gets repaid.
For weeks, Gucci stayed silent. No Instagram rants, no diss tracks, nothing. And that silence had everybody wondering, what is he gonna do? How's he gonna respond? But yo, Gucci didn't stay quiet because he was scared. He stayed quiet because he was making calculated moves that would hit Pooh where it hurt most. And when Gucci finally broke his silence, it wasn't through some emotional post or diss track. Nah, Gucci moved like a boss. First thing he did was quietly delete that welcome home post for Pooh. Gone. Just erased it like it never existed. In the social media age, that deletion spoke volumes. That was Gucci publicly cutting ties. But that was just the beginning. Sources close to the situation say Gucci immediately moved to recoup every dollar he invested in Pooh when he came home. Advance money, gifts, jewelry, whatever Gucci gave him as a welcome home gesture. Gucci went and took all of that back. And this is genius because he didn't respond with violence or emotion. He responded with cold business moves that were completely legal. He hit Pooh in his pockets and destroyed his reputation without giving prosecutors ammunition. Think about how devastating that is. Pooh just got out of federal prison trying to rebuild his career, and suddenly the man with all the industry connections, all the resources, all the credibility just cut him off completely. No more access to top producers, no more cosigns, no more industry connections. Gucci acted like their relationship never existed. And the message was clear to every artist watching: betray the family and you get cut off. But Gucci didn't stop there. Word on the street is Gucci's been making quiet calls, letting people in the industry know what happened. Not blasting it on social media, but in private conversations with label heads, producers, people who matter. He's making sure Pooh's betrayal is known. That's a long game move. That's ensuring that even if Pooh has some success, he's always gonna have that stain on his reputation. The hip-hop community's reaction has been wild. Most people are siding with Gucci. Other 1017 artists are watching closely, seeing exactly what happens when you violate trust. Some have been posting subtle messages of support for Gucci. That's the respect he commands. The Memphis community is split. Some support Pooh for choosing his city. They see it as hometown loyalty. But even in Memphis, people are saying Pooh handled this wrong. You can rep your city without robbing the man who kept your career alive. Atlanta artists are firmly on Gucci's side. When you disrespect one of their legends, you disrespect all of them. The streets are talking about how Pooh burned a bridge that can never be rebuilt. And this ain't just about jewelry or money. Gucci's not hurting for cash. This is about principle. In hip-hop, your word and loyalty are supposed to mean something. When somebody holds you down during your lowest moment, you honor that. Pooh didn't just rob Gucci of material possessions, he robbed him of trust. The crazy part is, this was completely avoidable. Pooh could have maintained Memphis connections while respecting Gucci. He could have been transparent about wanting to work more with Memphis artists, maybe negotiated his way out respectfully. Instead, he chose the most disrespectful path possible, and now he's got to live with the consequences. This is going to follow Pooh for the rest of his career. In an industry built on relationships and reputation, what he did to Gucci is something people don't forget. Label heads are going to think twice. Artists are going to be hesitant to collaborate. That reputation hit is worse than any diss track. So what does this mean moving forward? For Pooh, he might have Memphis love and CMG backing, but he lost something more valuable. He lost mentorship from a legend who believed in him. He lost access to a network that took Gucci 20 years to build. And he lost respect in an industry where respect is currency. Yeah, he might make money with CMG, but that stain is permanent. For Gucci, this had to hurt personally, but his response showed the maturity that comes from surviving this game for decades. He didn't let emotion drive him to make moves that would put him in legal jeopardy. He made calculated business decisions that protected himself and sent a message. That's what separates legends from everybody else, knowing when to move in silence, knowing how to hit back without destroying yourself. The coldest response is often the one that doesn't make noise.
The industry's watching, and what they're seeing is that Gucci's still untouchable. Even after getting robbed by his own artists, he came out on top because he played it smart. Meanwhile, Pooh's got some jewelry and temporary Memphis acceptance, but at what cost? He's allegedly got a $10 million CMG deal waiting, but how long will that last when you've proven you'll betray people who help you? If you're a label head and you see what Pooh did, are you really gonna invest millions in somebody with that track record? At the end of the day, this comes down to one principle that's been true in hip-hop since day one. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Gucci fed Pooh. He gave him opportunities, kept his name alive, invested in his career, and Pooh robbed him at gunpoint. The consequences will follow him forever. For Gucci, he took an L with the robbery, but he won in how he responded. He showed the game that even with all his success, he's still sharp enough to handle disrespect without self-destructing. That's boss shit. So there you have it, the full breakdown of how Gucci broke his silence and why his response was actually cold as hell. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Was Gucci's response the right move? Where does Pooh's career go from here? Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we got more drama coming. I'll catch you in the next video. Stay up, and remember, loyalty means everything in this game. Peace.